Adam Ottavino, Adam, Joe, and Evan, how are you?
Adam, I got it. First question I got to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Could you have struck Ted Williams out? I need to know.
I mean, I'd like to think so, but who knows?
DiMaggio only struck out like 300 times in his career. Could you
Yeah,
have struck
I saw
him
that.
out?
I saw that, but who knows? It's up for debate. It was a stupid thing to say, but here we are.
Are you surprised that it got as much talk and backlash in some places as it did?
Yeah, I did, because I really I was talking about like a totally unrelated topic about the pitchers throwing so hard these days, and how it's just completely the game's completely changed because of that. And going back to the 20s and 30s, obviously it was a different animal. So I think if I would have used a different name other than the one and only Babe Ruth, I think it would have went unnoticed for sure.
The one thing I said, because we talked about it on the air, I'm not going to lie to you, I would say was, well, if Babe Ruth was alive now, if Babe Ruth existed in 2019, he'd be taking supplements. He'd be a different guy.
Right.
So
He wouldn't be eating hot dogs and drinking beer every day.
So your point, I understood it, but also the point is those guys they didn't have the iPads to scout out pitchers. So in so many ways, everything is so different between then and now for both sides.
Yeah, I think on either side it takes a lot of assumptions, and therefore it's kind of silly all around.
Did you go into because you're a New Yorker, which we like, Brooklyn kid. Did you go into free agency thinking, hey, I'd really like to end up in New York. That's my ultimate goal?
I think it wasn't my ultimate goal because I had to stay open-minded and didn't know what the interest level would be. But all things being equal, yeah, I mean, I definitely wanted to be in New York. So glad that could happen.
All right, any concern? Now, I know you're a New York guy, but I have seen Bobby Bonilla comes to mind, okay, who was a New York guy who really couldn't play in New York. I mean, he didn't have great success with the Mets. Any concern about that, even though you are a New York guy?
Well, I mean, I think either way, I got to play well, right? So, I'm not expected to go anywhere and play bad. I understand the situation here with the scrutiny and obviously having a lot of people around that know me. But, ultimately, this is where I want to be. This is the stage I want to test myself on. And hopefully, no guts, no glory, right?
When you were growing up, were you a Yankee fan?
I was, yeah. I was.
Who was your favorite player?
Bernie Williams was my favorite hitter, and pitching-wise, I liked El Duque and David Cohn, those guys.
Not bad. Not bad. Now, you're going to wear number 0, which is unprecedented in Yankee history. How about that? Nobody else has ever worn that number.
Yeah, I wore it, Colorado, and then going back to Little League, and wasn't sure what would happen when I signed here. But sure enough, they're letting me wear it, so just going to try to do my best with it. And honestly, it's something that I don't really think about too much, but I know I understand why the fans, take interest in it for sure.
Talking to Adam Ottavino, newest member of the Yankees after spending 7 years, I think, with the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah.
What was the thing that clicked last year? Because for much of the year, you were the best 7th, 8th inning guy in all of baseball, had a tremendous, tremendous season. What was the biggest difference for you personally that made things click last year?
Well, I mean, first of all, I was throwing more strikes again. I was getting back in good counts. I was 0-2, 1-2 all the time. When you're in that spot, you're in a good spot. And, also I added a third pitch that I got a little more consistent with, gave me some more options, so I wasn't as predictable. And honestly, I was just super locked in. I was hitting all my spots, and all my intuition out there was paying off, and just a lot of things went right. Kind of a lot of things that I learned the hard way previous years, I stayed clear of.
How about this bullpen? This is a loaded bullpen, Adam. I mean, you got to say, wow. I mean, look at the guy. Look at the arms you got in this pen right now.
Yeah, it's exciting. One of the main reasons I wanted to come, be a part of something special. And watching these guys up close is certainly that. And I'm just hoping to be, another really good option for the manager. And hopefully we can hold the leads,
Last year when you were in Colorado, and I mentioned having a tremendous year, were you mostly, because my memory says you were mostly pitching the 8th inning. That was the inning they went to you in. Was that the inning you mostly pitched last year?
Yeah.
Is that, as a reliever, is that better kind of knowing, hey, I'm the 8th inning guy, or are you comfortable moving all over the place?
I'm comfortable. I've pitched in this game. I've been a starter. I've been a long man. I've pitched just first righties. I've been the guy to come in, get out of jams. I've pitched the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. For me, it's just about communication. As long as Booney's letting me know ahead of time, what's expected that night, then I can get ready accordingly. I mean, sure, it's nice to know, exactly what inning you're going to have, but for me, I don't need like a week or a month's notice. I just need a couple hours, and then I'll just get prepared.
And what has he communicated with you so far about your role?
Yeah, I mean, I think the game plan is, with the depth of the pen, to make sure that we're not abusing anybody. We're going to keep picking each other up, making sure that guys aren't going too many days in a row so we can stay fresh for the long haul. And in addition, I mean, he's going to try to match me up against righties. I mean, that's been a big strength in my career and something that maybe the team lacked last year or the year before a little bit. So, that's fine with me. Come in and try to do my job the best I can.
Yeah, you had a lot of success in Colorado, which is not exactly a pitcher's paradise, as we know. How difficult was it pitching there, Adam?
It's a challenge. I mean, I think the biggest two things are, one, the field's just very big to combat the altitude, so there's a lot of outfield, a lot of hits out there. And I think the second thing is just making the adjustments home and road all the time, with your pitches moving a little differently at sea level versus at 5,000 feet. And so there's a lot of adjusting that needs to take place. I think that's the biggest thing, but ultimately I had some good mentors there, and I kind of picked up on that stuff pretty quickly.
Last year, your team was in one of the weirdest situations, that almost double one-game playoff, where you play the one-game playoff for the division, and then if you win the game, great, you win the division. If you lose the game, you go to the wild card game playoff. And then if you win that game, you're in the postseason. So you lose the divisional game, win the wild card game, and then boom, you're playing the Milwaukee Brewers. What were those 4 or 5 days like, the whirlwind of that situation you were in?
Yeah, I mean, you go back even a week or two prior. I mean, we were neck and neck with the Dodgers, and we were winning a lot of games. We got hot, and they were losing, and we were right there. We needed the Giants to win one game in the final series, and we would have had the division. They ended up getting swept, so we ended up playing in the game 163, and we really wanted the division. Rockies have never won the division ever, so we really wanted that. It wasn't meant to be. We dropped that game, then we flew all night to Chicago, got in super late, and had to play the wild card game the next day. But I mean, for us, we were just happy to have another game. I mean, obviously, we were all in on winning the division. When it didn't happen, we were glad that the season wasn't over. So we ended up having an epic game the next night. That was kind of a whirlwind, and like you said, then we were in Milwaukee. So it was quite the experience.
Are you surprised Arenado got what he got in Colorado?
I'm a little surprised that they opened the checkbook for him. Not because of the player he is, just because of the market that they are. But if you're going to spend that money, that's the type of guy you want to spend it on for sure.
Were you happy with what you got? Because this was a weird free agent year, and you were coming off, like we talked about, such a great year. Were you happy and expected what you ended up receiving contract-wise?
Yeah, I was happy. I think ultimately I got 3 years, and I'm 33, so that's not normal these days. So for me, I was happy with that aspect of it. Didn't know what to expect going in, but there was a lot of good relievers out on the market, so I think that kind of cluttered it a little bit, and I just didn't want to get left behind.
And you're pitching for a pretty good team here, too. How about this team when you look at it right now, Adam?
Yes, it's very exciting. A very deep team, obviously, in every facet. I mean, starting pitching, bullpen, obviously the lineup set a record with the home runs last year. So I don't really see an area where we're too weak, and this organization is known for doing what it takes throughout the year to keep improving, so really looking forward to that.
Welcome to New York, Adam. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, man. Adam Ottavino.
One of the new members of the New York Yankees from this offseason got a 3-year, $27 million deal.